Good day. Today we're going to be looking at the margin of error. Margin of error is the amount of possible difference between a survey result and the actual exact data. Margin of error shows us how accurate our result is. A confidence interval is a range of values that is likely to contain the true answer. This shows us how certain we are of our estimate. Here's the two formulas we're going to be using. Alright, what is the mean and standard deviation of the sample? Round to the nearest tenth of a minute. You should be able to find mean and standard deviation at this point. So I'm going to show you what they are. My mean value is 5.36. And my standard deviation value is 1.83. Both of these are rounded. At a 95% confidence level, what is the approximate margin of error? My margin of error formula: 1.96 times standard deviation, 1.83, divided by the square root of our sample size. In this sample, we have 30 blocks. When you type this in Desmos, it's about 0.65. What is the confidence interval for a 95% confidence level? Well, I need to take my mean, subtract my margin of error, this is supposed to be less than or equal to our entire population mean. And I'm going to add the margin of error on the right side. So my confidence interval, let me put a colon here, is it from 4.71 less than or equal to my mu, the population mean, less than or equal to 6.01. What is the meaning of the interval in terms of wait times for our customers? What this tells us is, and I'm not writing this, so pay attention, or you could write it after I show you the answers later. But this means that we are 95% certain that the average wait time for the entire population of people inside this grocery store in the express line is somewhere between 4.71 and 6.01 minutes. Alright, sample proportion. This is called p-hat, and this is equal to the desired number divided by the total number. So, look at example A. In a poll of 1,085 voters selected randomly, 564 favor candidate A. So, what is the proportion? What percent of people prefer candidate A? P-hat is equal to the desired number, 564, over the total number, 1085. When you type this in, you will get approximately 52% of people like candidate A. Go ahead and pause the video and try part B. Using this is pretty simple. Moving on. For a sample proportion, we have margin of error and we have confidence interval. Margin of error is 1.96 times the square root of our sample proportion times 1 minus the sample proportion divided by the size. Confidence interval is just your p-hat sample proportion and then plus minus margin of error. Alright, example 3. Find the sample proportion margin of error, 95% confidence interval for the population proportion. I'm going to do A. I may or may not do B. For A, P hat is equal to the amount that I want, 280, over the total amount of people, 530. This is going to be approximately 0.5283. My margin of error is going to be equal to 1.96 times the square root. P hat, 0.5286. 83 times 1 minus 0.5283 divided by my 500, and when I type this into Desmos, I'm going to get about 0.043. %, confidence interval. I'm going to round this to 0.53 plus minus 0.04 just to make this a little bit simpler. Therefore, my confidence interval is 0.49 to 0.57. I think you can get the gist of this from this example. Pause the video and try part B. For exercise 1 and 2, you have an example from the first page and the second page. Try these, pause the video. Now I'll show you the answer. This is all that I have for you today. Have a good evening.